Welcome to Now We're Getting Somewhere. I'm Katie, and I'm a certified life coach, but I've also been a management consultant at McKinsey and a product manager at a tech startup. In other words, I know what it feels like to have a life that looks pretty good on paper, but doesn't feel as good as I want it to. I help my professional clients develop lives that are more meaningful, happy, and also more successful. And I want to share the same practical insights with you. Let's go. Hey team. My personal update for this podcast is going to be that How to Know What You Want, my course on clarity and how to know what you want, has begun. We have done 2 of 8 calls and I'm having such a fun time. If I'm being honest with you, I've been a little nervous about it. It is a big group of folks, and I have done group coaching a number of times before, but only small groups in the past, not quite a big group like this. But it has been so fun to get to be with such a large community of intentional and thoughtful folks. There are a bunch of old clients in there who I just adore, and there's also a bunch of new folks who I'm just getting to know, and it's been great. So because I'm running this course, I'm thinking a ton about clarity and figuring out what you want. Because each week I'm kind of, I've had the curriculum set for a really long time, but, right before I go on the calls for the days before, I'm always futzing with my material to try to figure out kind of the clearest way to describe everything, the sharpest way of putting together new models, all of that. So I wanted to share a little mini insight with you today that seemed to resonate a lot with the people in the course. Here it is. One of the easiest, simplest first steps that you should definitely take if you don't know what you want is to spend quality time with your topic or question, whatever it is that you're wanting clarity on. So in the next few minutes, I want to talk about what quality time is and what it isn't. And then I will get practical about how you tactically can do more quality time with that topic or problem or question. And then we're going to call it a day. Okay, so first, what is quality time? Quality time is time in which you're able to give whatever, again, that problem or topic or question it is that you're in, your full attention. Whether that question is, should I start a business or should I get divorced or any number of smaller or more vague questions, you are giving those your full focus and brain power and heart opening power and awareness. The metaphor that really lands with me here is that clarity is kind of like a romantic partner. If you want it to be open towards you, if you want it to be kind and caring and generous and to tell you what you want to know, you have to give it your full, undivided attention on a regular basis. And a regular basis is not once a month, because would that really fly with your boyfriend or girlfriend or partner? Quality time is at least multiple times a week, if not every single stinking day. So that's what quality time is, thinking about the topic that you want clarity on, almost like a romantic partner. Now let's talk about what quality time isn't. Quality time is not rumination. I'm going to say that again. Quality time is not rumination. So if you're ruminating, if you're thinking about your topic often for much of your day as you're, showering or running or going to a work meeting, that's not what I'm talking about here. Sure, the topic's on your mind, at least in some part of your mind, but you're not giving it your full and complete and best attention. It's like thinking that if you're just, playing video games next to your partner, that's quality time. That's fine. You guys can do that, but that's not quality time. Quality time is not low-level anxiety that we might, again, feel basically constantly, or we might feel in, intrusive bursts throughout our day, like when we're supposed to be focusing on a work project or folding laundry. Feeling that kind of low-level anxiety a lot might make us think that we're spending time with our problem. But again, that is not quality time. Quality time is giving it your full, undivided attention. I cannot tell you how many one-on-one clients I have. Truly, it is most of them. And that's not a dig. I just think it's like a blind spot that many of us have. But many of my one-on-one clients start working with me on a clarity question. They're wondering about how to proceed in a tricky friendship situation or whether to stay or go with their current job. And I ask them if they're spending quality time with the problem, not just ruminating time, but quality time. And 90% of the time, the answer is no. And just spending quality time, that alone is going to move the needle in a surprisingly meaningful way. So I've made my case. Now I want to get tactical and practical. If quality time isn't just constant rumination, how do you actually implement that? At its most simple, quality time will entail having time to think about the topic without doing anything else. So it's not thinking while you're driving or in the shower or doing dishes. That's fine too. Sometimes great insights surface there as well. So I'm not knocking it, but you will also need dedicated regular time to be with the problem. If you want, you can just sit on a park bench and think. But I find that for most people I work with, it's more practical to do some form of active self-reflection. You could try my voice memo method from episode 59 of this podcast, just a couple episodes ago. Or to be honest, it sounds boring because we talk about it so much, but the most kind of all-purpose Swiss Army knife tool here is definitely going to be some sort of journaling. In my How to Know What You Want course, one of the 2 homework assignments in week 1 for my clients was a 10 to 15 minute per day journaling practice. Again, it's not actually that much time. I did give them some specific prompts depending on whether they were trying to figure out a big issue or getting better at knowing what they wanted with lots of small issues, or there's like a third category of people who have sort of like a general vague offness in their life that they're trying to do something about. I'm not going to share those exact prompts here because you got to join my course when it's next open for enrollment for that. But truly, just about any regular journaling practice where you are consciously spending time with the problem will likely do a lot. I do have an episode on this podcast that's just about journaling. That's episode 62. It's called Journaling for Clarity. That's a great starting point. The overall key is that you're mostly just trying to use journaling as a way to sit with this kind of knotted ball of yarn that is the problem. And you are using your journaling to just pull on strings literally anywhere. Like you're just trying to, on purpose, look at all the different sides of this problem or topic or question. What's so hard about this problem? What do you dream of here? Where might you begin to work on this? Just regularly pulling at some of the threads of, again, this knotted ball of yarn will basically inevitably start to loosen things. And it was so funny when I shared this insight in my How to Know What You Want course. So many of my clients there were like, yeah, I am just ruminating all the time and never truly, sitting down and spending quality time with my topic. And then when they did spend some quality time with their problems or topics, so many folks came back the next week and they said to me, Katie, it's kind of wild how many insights I had just from spending time with the problem. That was literally our week 1 homework. Well, that and one other thing. I had not even taught or coached that much yet. And I mean, the thing that is just really landing with me is that a bunch of them came back right before our second week call, and they told me that many of their problems actually became different problems. Something I want to talk about more later because that's another really important insight about clarity, but that is a huge deal for them. That just spending quality time with the problem changed its nature. It broke it down into component parts that could be addressed more precisely. Well, it's landing in my body because it's so good. So for example, it turned out for a bunch of them, we're in this course called How to Know What You Want, but it turns out, and I knew this was going to happen, but it's always fun to see when it happens for people. It turns out for a bunch of them, they did not actually have a problem knowing what they wanted. It turned out they had a problem with worrying what other people might think, or they had a problem with imposter syndrome. And this is incredibly important to know because you are going to address a worried what other people might think problem very differently than a I don't know what I want problem, very differently. And you're going to address an imposter syndrome problem very differently than an I don't know what you want problem. And you got to know what problem you have. And in just 15 minutes a day or so of quality time with their problem over the course of just a week, my clients figured out which problem they had. So many of us are walking through our days vaguely ruminating, and the mental shift of saying, oh, wait, ruminating is not quality time. And I need to, at least a few days a week, maybe even every day, spend some quality time with my problem, thinking about it directly. That is so powerful. You will be surprised how potent that is. It sounds small. Maybe it sounds dumb. Maybe it sounds unimportant. Don't underestimate it. Try it. Try some regular quality time with the problem. See what it does. That's all I got for you this week, team. Just a little powerful teensy nugget of a podcast. I'm rooting for you. You've got this. Talk to you soon. If you really want to change in a meaningful, lasting way, that's when you need a life coach. Every client I've worked with has had incredibly personalized reasons why they're in the tired or anxious or stuck or uninspired state they're in. Working with me can help you identify those roadblocks, which are usually blind spots that you genuinely cannot see, and implement a profoundly customized, doable plan for overcoming them. I have a very small, high-end, one-on-one coaching practice. If you'd like to be my next client, reach out at katiesiever.com. I'd love to meet you.